Hello and welcome back. My name is Wendy Bertinelli and I am going to show you how to paint this wonderful watercolor butterfly, the rainbow after the storm sort of effect. And I am still in just month 1 of my journey and I am so excited to show you. As you can see, I've traced my butterfly and I have drawn lines where I am going to paint. So let's get started. So I am using my size 16 Princeton Heritage brush, and we're just going to start on the right side, and I'm just going to get that whole wing nice and wet. And I don't want to go outside the line because I want the water to stay within the line. So we're gonna do half and half, and you'll see why in just a minute. And I'm so glad you're joining me. I have had so much fun on this journey so far. I'm looking forward to the next year or more on my journey as I improve. So I'm going to, I've mixed up all my colors here. I am using the Winsor Newton colors, with the exception to the purple. I did use one, a little bit from my Mungyo palette, which I will link all of this in the description, but I liked the darker purple and I only had the ultramarine violet, and so I really like the dark purple in the Mungyo palette. So that's what I'm using for that. So we're gonna start in the middle with the purple. So I'm gonna go over to my Mungyo palette and we're just gonna color in this circle, this first circle. And you can see, I might add, there we go. I did mix that a little bit with my Winsor Newton. That's the color that I want. So you can see how it's just kind of pulling out, blossoming out. So I'm going to go on. We want this paper to stay fairly wet while we're doing this. We're going to go on to the blue, and I want to get a good edge there on the body of the butterfly. So that's what I'm mainly concerned about. This is the Prussian Blue. Okay, make sure we're gonna go on to the green. And again, I'm just kind of starting with the outer edges because it will bleed into the blue with no problem. So I just want to make sure I get those outer edges good before I push it into the blue. And our lines are going to disappear. Our butterfly is going to be completely covered with outlines and all kinds of fun things. So now we're going to go on to the yellow. Now this is the tricky part because we don't want to get the green and the yellow to mix too much because then we just have green. So I'm going to keep the yellow kind of up more. I'm just going to let that green kind of bleed into it. I might need to wet my paper just a little bit more. As you can see, that yellow is not bleeding out quite as much. I'm going to go ahead, and this is the Canson paper, and it does tend to puddle a little bit more. I do like my Arches paper better, and if you want to see the difference in those paints, you can look at my short video. I used the Canson paper in that video, or the arches, I'm sorry, the arches paper in that video. Let's see, so let's go ahead and wet that side just a little bit more because we just want to make sure that it's gonna bleed with the next two colors. And like I said, I don't want too much pooling, but I do want it to spread. So I'm just getting it glistening. Okay, so let's go on to our orange. And start up here, get our sides good. And I'm really not being careful because I want those colors to just bleed together nicely. I don't want there to be any space left. Just gonna pick up that. It's bleeding a little more than I wanted. Okay, we're gonna go over here. And I am using a little bit more of the paint than I want. I'm hoping it's not going to puddle too much on this paper. Okay, we're going to go in and use the red. And this one I'm kind of going backwards. I'm starting at the bottom because I want those to bleed together nicely. Not too concerned about staying exactly in the lines because I am gonna outline this butterfly, so I'm not too concerned about that. That one's got a nice bleed there. I like that. Just gonna go ahead and leave that like that. We're gonna turn it over. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we're going to start by brushing out all along the edge there. And I am just self-taught. I have watched a lot of other YouTube tutorials and videos. I did take one class. But I'm a very crafty person. I've crafted for years and years, so crafting is not new to me. Painting is fairly new to me, although I did a lot of painting on wood when I was younger. Okay, let's get the second half started. So we're gonna go with the purple first. Oh, I just love to watch it bloom like that. That is just my favorite part. As many of you know, I suffer with bipolar, and I have just loved the therapeutic way that the paint just, I don't know, just the way it makes me feel is very therapeutic and relaxing, which is what I need. I am bipolar, like I said, and I tend to, when I get really busy and stressed, I tend to go towards the manic side. So staying calm and less stressed is optimum for me. Just removing a little bit of that blue there because we want to be able to get our green. We don't want it to mix too much. And like I said, I'm not too concerned. with the bleeds being too crazy, because we are going to outline this butterfly. It's going to be beautiful, and we're not going to have to worry about all this because it's just going to be blended in nicely. Okay, paper's still pretty wet. So we're going to go ahead over to our yellow. Again, we are going to start in the back with the yellow, just because I don't want that to bleed too much into the green. I want to keep that a nice bright yellow. I do want all of my spaces covered though, so I'm doing my best to make sure we're all covered. So there's no white space. There we go. I'm not too worried about this puddling over here, just because, like I said, we're gonna fill this all in. It's gonna look amazing. I'm mostly just concerned about my edges. I don't want them going outside of the line here. I love that bleed. Just that, watch that paint blossom like that. It's just so fun. I'm gonna bring that up just a little bit so that our wing is not too red at the tip. And I'm gonna just grab just a tiny bit of water here. I'm not going to finish that out. With the red. And I'm using my size 4 Princeton brush on this. I don't know if I mentioned that. A little close to the corner there. Just mopping up that red just a tiny bit. So we don't get any weird pooling lines. Again, some of this is going to be covered, so I'm not too concerned about it. Okay, so there we go. We've got our butterfly ready to go. Looks like I am gonna just add a touch more purple, just maybe see if we can get a little better of a bleed on that side. I'm just adding a little more water there. Really like the bleed of that side. But again, not too concerned about it because we are going to fill in the lines. So I'm going to let that dry good and solid, and then we'll be back. Okay, so now that our butterfly has dried, you can see some of the reasons that I do not like the Canson paper. You can see how some of the ways that it dried here, and I will show you the difference at the end of this video between the Canson and the Arches paper and why I like the Arches so much more. You can also see that I have drawn on my lines for the butterfly, and so now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use this marker, the paint marker, and I will list that in the description. So we're done with our painting. We're going to go ahead and fill in our butterfly. And I just like doing this with the paint marker. It's just a lot quicker. And on the Canson paper, it runs really smooth down the paper, which that is one of the differences with the Arches paper, is it is not as smooth on the paper. It's a little more rough with your paint pen. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and outline the wings. And then I'm gonna show you on the one side, and then I'll speed it up for the second side. So I'm just gonna outline I've got some extra lines in here that I'm gonna draw too, but these smaller lines are the veins, and so I'm not going to draw them as thick. So on the butterflies, usually there are some thicker spots and some thinner spots. So we're going to stay with that theme. Darken up some of those lines. We're just going to add a few goes here. One more here. Like that. Okay. I'm going to take my size 2, 02. Go with the 03. This is the black pigment micro pen in the size 03. So we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna darken in all those lines, the veins of the butterfly. So you can see how much this little detail adds to the butterfly. And again, I'm not too worried about these little marks that are showing up because I am going to spatter paint at the end, just because I really like the look of that. It's a little more abstract looking. There we go on there. I'm going to take some white acrylic paint, and this is just the ceramic coat. And I'm just going to use the cap. I have my paper towel close by, and I'm going to use a stylus, and I'm just going to dip that, and I'm just going to actually going to use the bigger end. And so we're just dotting on the paint for the wings. And I love this detail that adds to the butterfly. I just think it's so pretty. We're going to add some here. Add some here and here. Add some right here and some right here. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up while I do the other side, and then I will come back and show you the difference between the Canson and the watercolor or the Arches paper, and we'll also do some splattering. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up for the rest. And there we are. There is our finished butterfly. Now you can see I still have some lines in there, but I'm going to go ahead and just splatter on some paint. I'm just using black acrylic ceram coat. And I'm just taking the tip of it and I'm just gonna kind of splatter with the... So that's why I wasn't too worried about the lines in there, because they kind of create the character of the piece. So that is the finished butterfly on the Canson paper. And there are certain things that I liked about it. I do think that it is a little bit brighter than the arches. I like how smooth the marker works on it, but I do not like the way that it bled out. Here is the arches paper. You can see that it is a little more, the bleeds are more even, so I like that a lot better. It is a little bit rougher on the marker, the paint marker, to line that with, but other than that, I really, really like the arches paper best. But just so you can see comparison, like I said, the Canson is a little bit brighter. Let's see if we can do this side by side. Here we go. That's it for today, friends. I hope you will come back and join me again soon. Like I said, this is just my, just starting into my second month of my watercolor journey. So I hope that you'll come back and visit me again soon.